I wanted you to show the crowd the jumper and what it says on the back of the neck, which is "For the Anchor." What does that mean to you as skipper?
Yeah, so welcome everyone. It's great to be here. For the Anchor is a term that we've been using since JL came to the club. When JL came, we redid our club trademark, and the playing group got together and worked out what it means to play for Freo and what values we want to live by. And For the Anchor underpins all of those values and actions that we come up with. And within our conversations, we felt like For the Anchor really represents our history, and it really takes ownership of our history. Clearly, when we started, we wore the anchor, and at times that's been used as potentially a symbol that maybe it's weighed us down, whereas we try to take ownership of that and be really proud of our history. And I feel like I'm really connected to our history through the greats that I played with when I first started, and we're trying to, as we look forward and try and create something special, we're not just doing it as a group of 44 blokes, we're doing it off the back of all the work that's done before us. So For the Anchor being a really strong message that underpins all of our behaviours is a look back at the players that have come before us and pretty much all of the Freo family that have been here since 1995.
Really well said, Alex. Does it become more sentimental to you, the jumper, as you get further into your career, now your third year as skipper?
Yeah, it definitely changes. I got sent this question yesterday and had a good think about it, because I think when I got my first jumper, would have been back in 2014, it meant a lot, but it was this sort of mythical thing that the Gladiators wore out on Subiaco Oval, and it seemed sort of unbelievable that guys could go out and produce and compete the way they do, given the context and the crowd and everything that happened. And I didn't get to wear this jumper for my first year, and it sort of stayed as this sort of magical thing that the boys get to wear and go out and play in. And I remember my first couple of years when I was lucky enough to represent the club and running out with greats of the club like Pavlich and Ballantyne, Sandilands, De Boer, and getting to run out with them, getting to give them a hug before the game and get a look in the eyes and just know that you were really part of something and part of something special. And that sort of special feeling continued throughout my career, but there's been stages obviously where I didn't get to wear the jumper, where I had a couple of years off, and during those times there's a bit of a longing, I guess, to pull this back on, because what it represents, it means you get to go out with your brothers and represent the Freo family and the big crowds that come and watch us. And during those times it meant something different, and now as the captain of this club, I get to be the one that speaks to the boys before the game and hopefully impart some confidence and some strength with those hugs that I give them before the game, because I know how much that meant for me, and try and create something that is really special. And I think that's what we have, and the group that we have at the moment is a really connected and united group, which really love being together, love hanging out, and love competing for all the Freo family as well.
Finally, there was a joint lunch with the Indigenous All-Stars in Fremantle last week, and it was a special lunch for one person in particular. We've seen it online, but can you share with the room what that moment was like when Isaiah Dudley got told he was being signed by the club?
Yeah, it was a really special moment, probably one of the most special ones I can remember in my career. Joe Bridie came to me the day before and said, "Look, we're going to sign Duds, and we want you to announce it in this with this lunch with all the Indigenous All-Stars and the club and everyone present." And I was like, "Whoa, Joe, it's a pretty big ask. I guess I can do it." And he said, "Oh, we're also going to give him Roger Hayden's number, and we want you to incorporate that in the speech. We think it'd be really special." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, Joe. It's starting to build the pressure on me." He said, "Oh, and his mum and his grandmother are going to be there and just walk in just as you announce it. So make sure you get the timing just right."
Don't stuff it up.
Yeah, don't stuff it up. So, anyway, it all came together really well, and got to announce to Isaiah that he was joining our club, and to do it, with all that context, and he had uncles in the room, and to see how much it meant for Duds. He got to hold his jersey up there with me, and he was wiping tears away, and his mum and his grandmother were crying. I had something in my eye just randomly at the time as well, and I got back to my table, and Luke Ryan and Jordan Clark were like, "Oh, Jesus, that was pretty good." And I was like, "Well, it must mean something if we're getting the hard defenders to shed a tear." And I think that in talking about what the jumper means, it probably helped me to understand, to go back to what it was to be a young kid and get to hold this jumper for the first time, be a part of this club, and to see what it meant to him and his family, and the whole group that was there was really special. And yeah, I hope that everyone who receives a jumper today takes it with the pride that I still do, and that we can wear that this year and look forward to some real success in front of you all.
Might be a few more tears when Isaiah gets his jumper this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, our captain, Alex Pearce.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.